So we're in Idaho. We are going to be going to our land today. It'll be the first time that I am seeing it. But our whole purpose of coming up here is that we're wanting to get electrical onto the property, which means that we need to stake out kind of where our house is going to be so that they can put the transformer. They need to trench to, it sounds like an area around within 10 feet of the house. So we need to know where our house is going to be. So that is what we're going to be doing today.
Yay.
So we're here on our property. We were actually supposed to come out yesterday, but we did come out yesterday, but it was quite windy here yesterday, and so taking the time to kind of film wasn't really an option. So we came back today. It is nicer today. It's not windy. It's about in the 30s right now, but it's quite beautiful out. We're here today to stake out the property. We weren't anticipating doing this, but just because of needing to put in electrical and, there's certain things that you need infrastructure wise in order to get loans or permits or certain things. So we need to stake out our house in order to indicate where we want the transformer for our electrical. Because the transformer has to be within a certain feet of the house, Kevin and I, we had to sit down and do like a little bit of a layout, not like architecturally, but where we wanted to put certain things. We've actually gone through 4 or 5 drafts of where we wanted to put certain things depending on the infrastructure. So things that we had to think about are like the septic system, like the septic tank and the leach field and the transformer. And we're thinking about doing like a rain catch system and all of these things that you don't think that would really impact each other, but they really do. So we got that all figured out. I did a final draft today just based on all of the information that we have. Of course, that plan is likely going to change because it always does. But for now, we just want to make sure that we're putting the transformer in a place where we feel that we can manipulate the house around and that it's a good spot for us to run wiring and electrical and conduit and all of that stuff. And so that's what we're doing here today. We have also moved kind of the location of where our site is going to be at. So we did have to change around a little bit of the concept of where we wanted to do certain things. So we're excited because we're here to measure that out. Kevin is off getting some of the supplies like measuring tapes and flags and things like that so that we can stake the ground. Obviously you can see it's snowing. So it's a little bit harder, but we are excited to be here and plan this out. And we'll show you guys that little process here in a second. All right, so we just finished staking out the home site. As you saw, we kind of started off marking some outer posts. Why were we marking the outer parts?
We marked the perimeter first, an enlarged perimeter just for excavation purposes, and then we shrank it back down for actual location of house.
So the layout that I had talked about a little bit earlier, had where, like I said, the septic was and our transformer and the garage and all of these things. And so for the excavation purposes, you excavate out further, but for us to make sure that the sizing was accurate, we needed to kind of do the little flags to make sure that, in general, things were the sizes that we wanted and in placements that we wanted. We did make a few tweaks. You probably can't tell from the video, but we did make a few tweaks. We increased sizes in certain places. We tweaked, the building, orientation in certain things.
Yeah, and I would suggest, because everything's good on paper, she designed everything on paper, but then when you get out here, it's like, well, a 40 by 40 seems big, but then you go 40 by 60 and you go, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Or I want to move this just a little bit over here, orientate the house a little bit. And so it's always good to walk it before any real money's spent. I mean, it's really, we just spent $5 on flags, which is a lot easier than having to move a whole freaking container.
Yeah, and this will be by no means the last time we do this.
Yeah.
We'll probably stake this out several times before we
trench for concrete, and for actually when we lay out for concrete, and then when we actually pour the slab, that's the point of no return. So
yeah, so like I was mentioning before, this has to do a lot with the transformer, and so what a lot of this was with the little flags and making sure that the house was where we wanted it is because if we make any changes, it's going to basically pivot around the transformer and like one corner of the house, and we needed to make sure that that corner and where the transformer was in places that were like, if we have to pivot the house or make any changes, that these two things will stay the same no matter what.
And in essence, the way the camera's facing is kind of the way our house is kind of situated a little bit. If you look behind me, you'll see that we have all that land back there, so
yeah,
our house will kind of face that way, with the back being that way. So
yeah, so that's what this trip was about, is doing the layout. And so next time we come up here will probably be in the spring, and we've talked already about putting up a tree line to shield from the wind, because yesterday when we were here there was a really chilly breeze coming off of the mountains, and so we're like, okay, well then over time we'll probably have to put a tree line up so that we can guard against that. But yeah, that's what we're doing this trip. Tomorrow we're gonna come out here and meet with the electrical guy.
Yep.
And to make sure that all of that is finalized, and then from there we'll probably not be back until maybe the spring. But we'll see. Lots of things change, and we've had to do things that we weren't expecting, so that's where we're at. All right, thank you, till next time.
Peace.
Did you seriously just say peace?